polls have Winston Peters behind his National Party opponent in Tauranga, and New Zealand First's party vote below 5%. Winston has a plan.
Unmanicured, just straight facts in the next few days. We'll turn these polls around.
After 21 years as local MP, he's going to put up a fight.
Don't forget to spread the word. This is a campaign that we're not going to lose in Tauranga. It's a campaign where we're going to restore ourselves after election to our rightful place. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget there's a meeting, a public meeting in Phoenix Park in the main street, Mount Maunganui.
Ladies and gentlemen, you recall in 2002 at the last election.
I haven't heard much of you lately at all.
A situation Peters is trying to change, spending as much time as possible in his electorate. The question of who he might go into coalition with keeps popping up.
If you get in, are you going to join the National Party?
If I get in, am I going to join the National Party? I am not politically suicidal.
The streets can be mean in the Mount.
Who sold the BNZ?
Yeah.
Wasn't me.
No, your party did, didn't it?
You.
Your party did.
That was you.
No, it wasn't me.
You were the treasurer at the
No,
time.
sir, I wasn't. Now run along, sunshine.
You better go home and have some lunch.
No, it was good enough for him. I just happened to be going past it.
Yes, I just happened to be going past on a Monday.
Is his message getting through?
I feel that in most respects he's sort of repeating the same thing over and over again.
Peters has to come up with something new.
But you're way behind the eight ball here. Come Wednesday and I'll tell you all.
New Zealand First's campaign imagery has come under fire for being confusing, but it relates to one of their key achievements last term.
Well, it's not our photograph at all. It came from a Dominion Wellington newspaper the day after the foreshore and seabed legislation was passed. We stepped in and said, if you make these 7 changes, then your legislation will get passed. And that was the biggest issue, capable of dividing this country for a long, long time. And we fixed it.
Division can also be found in his party members' preferred partners.
Well, you know, I suppose to be fair, there'd be a third wanting us to align with Labour and a third wanting us to align with National and 1/3 who want us to just stay there and keep the system honest.
Who do his supporters want him to go with?
National.
He shines out above them all.
No parties.
National, I think.
He's going to go with the Labour Party.
I don't prefer either. I'd like him to stay in the middle.
Winston's competition is Tauranga personality Bob Clarkson.
I'm either in the paper every week or every night. I am a very prominent person here. I hate saying that, but that's a fact.
Clarkson spent over 17 million of his own money on the stadium and was instrumental in bringing the Steamers, the Bay of Plenty NPC side, to the city. Local paper editor Craig Nicholson sees some connection between Clarkson's high support and the Steamers' great season.
We finished third, we won the Shield, the city was buoyant, and there'll be some rub off for Clarkson for sure.
Even with Bob Clarkson's high visibility, Winston isn't worried.
Well, I'm a rugby player, he's a hockey player. You get the point, don't you?
Because Winston is a Tauranga personality too.
But they think you don't like Asian, but I don't believe that.
He's honest about things that a lot of other people beat around the bush about.
Strong warrior stance.
What's your first name?
Winston.
Well done, mate. You must have a very, very bright mother and father.
Winston's campaigning goes from the young to the elderly. New Zealand First proposes the Golden Age card, special care for his core support.
It'll give you full super entitlements, as I've said, subsidies on GP visits and prescription charges, transport concessions, lower power, gas and telephone line charges, savings incentives, rates rebates and discount schemes, all through the swipe of this card.
The support is a two-way relationship.
It's been important for me and New Zealand First, and the reason for that is we've actually stood for them and backed their causes for a long, long time.
Well, I've always liked him.
Yeah.
You know, not just because of his looks, but because of his policy.
This election, the question of what the candidates have done for Tauranga is centre stage.
Do you remember 21 years ago driving over the Kaimais? The metal roads? Almost single lane in most parts? Well, all that's changed and has been for a number of years.
We have a problem on that. I travelled that road 1962 to 63 and it was tar sealed then. So, I don't want to be rude here. The guy's getting a little bit desperate.
It's harder to see a bill that's passed through, well, what does that mean to you or I? But a stadium is something physical we can see. So, yeah, there is a benefit of that for sure.
Whatever we promised the elderly people of this country, I'm proud to say we delivered on.
But even as Winston pushes his messages, that question is raised again.
What influence could you possibly have in Parliament, just standing alone?
Do you mind if I answer that question on Wednesday?
It's not just media asking who you're going to go with. There are supporters of yours quite concerned.
You know, since January this year, guess how many people in my audiences have asked that question? No more than 5. True.
3 today.
Yes, no, because we're close up to the election and they're seeing it every night.
It seems like Clarkson has a lead in the polls and Winston's got some hard work to do to retain this seat, but he's done it before. You wouldn't write him off.
There is the announcement in Rotorua. Will that provide the circuit breaker Winston Peters needs?
I think it'd be a good idea to wait till tomorrow.
A number of these thermal features came into being one afternoon, January 2001. A reminder that, in Rotorua, a lot can change in a day.
The Right Honourable Winston Peters, Member of Tauranga, Leader of New Zealand First.
Somebody open the windows, the doors at the back, because it's going to be a hot time in the whole town today. All the media wanted to do is play a game of who are you going to go with? We've tried diligently to get our policies out in front of the New Zealand people because they are good policies.
I think his policies on Asians I fully agree with.
That assets will not be sold.
He's been solidly behind the elderly.
Winston says he called this meeting to bring the focus back on his policies. To do so, he had to show his hand.
New Zealand First will not be going into formal coalition with either Labour or National.
We're on our way again, Chief.
Winston Peters thought his speech cleared it all up.
I've sought to answer every possible question that could be possibly asked, no matter what permutation you put on it.
But even senior reporters were far from clear.
Oh, if you like, I'll put it on tape.
No, mate, no.
I'm not excuse. Look, ask me some. Would you please do me a favour and ask me some serious questions?
It's a fair question.
I want to be helpful, Mr. Soper.
Are you going to sit down and cross the T's and dot the I's?
With only a week to go until the election, will this stand be enough to reverse the slide in the polls for New Zealand First?